teenage ball goes, I went to New York for 4 days. I loved it so much I could have spent a week there. So I'm going to throw this out to the audience as well. Who would like to ask about the process of making that, or indeed the comic strip as a whole, or Alexei? Yes.
So this one had early appearances from Duma Keegan and Phil Cornwell. I just wondered, when you selected performers like that, were you consciously thinking, I'm bringing in the next generation? How was that, did that kind of recruitment happen?
We were always looking for new, interesting people. Yeah, Phil came and did the Crying Game with me and Keith, where he did the Jimmy Hill thing. It was very funny. And he's just a very funny man. He was very famous, actually, on Radio 2 with Steve Wright, doing Mick Jagger and David Bowie. And I think it was so, you know, honestly, you thought they were David Bowie and Mick Jagger on the radio, and I think that's where he started. But I met him through doing a bit on the Crying Game, and then we brought him in, and I thought he improvised always on set. So that bit he did with, I know this sounds crazy, but that was his own made-up thing, you know.
Yeah. And what was it, how much did that play its part? Obviously, you went on to make Stella Street with Phil and with John Sessions. You know, was it at this point where there was just the beginning of the idea of Jimmy Hill living next door to Jack Nicholson?
No, that was much later.
It was much later, so that wasn't kind of like sitting around and...
No,
that was
later, yeah.
Yeah, Phil was quite brilliant live. Who else would like to ask anything? Yes, Dan.
It's a strange question, but one thing that's always struck me about the commentary presents, and also this particular film, is that they say, okay, the absurdity, you know, the absurd story, the thing, you know, whatever. There's always a very great core of almost humanism, of real passion, of love for the characters, and a genuine care to show, you know, quality and take away the mask, and you know, and I sort of really like the Renoir films or something like that. Yeah, no, it's a joke. I make it to be a joke.
I thought it was a love story. It was a love story.
You know, and many of them, I'm often surprised because another person would just have made some cheap comedy or just some, you know, political attack, but so there seems to be a real love with it. And was that always deliberate?
No, I just think it was. I mean, I think actually, it only occurred to me tonight that it was like Sharon Bergeret or Roxanne, that it was a love story, you know, and she thinks she's fallen in love with somebody who's, you know, who's not who he is, and it was, you know, but he's wooed her.
Superman and
I suppose so. It's that. Yes, it's that kind of thing. But it happens to be John Major, and then weirdly, about a couple of years after we made the film, Edwina Curry got up and said, "Yes, I had an affair with John Major," and he must have been quaking in his hush puppies when he watched our film. So where did they get this idea that I was doing this affair with Dennis Kinnock? You know? But that was just he couldn't have an affair with Neil Kinnock. So
you should have been braver and had an affair with Neil Kinnock.
exactly. Then should have been a gay love story.
Yeah,
exactly.
You should have taken.
But Dawn was funny.
What was it? Did you screen it as well? For obviously you were working with the circus for a lot of that time. Did they get a screening as well? Did you actually have a bunch of things?
We never went to screen. No, actually, we finished it the night before the election, and I actually had to go and edit a couple of things that I thought they may not like about it without even telling them. I cut it out because I so realised that no one was checking this film. It was going straight on the television the next day, and I actually remember taking out a couple of things that I think was some bad language or whatever that was in it. I took it out because I thought, God, there's only me now between. Do you know what I mean? We're talking about not upsetting them.
Yeah.
And I realised no one was checking. It was like that. It was that late in the day.
And the physical comedy in it is fantastic. I mean, the plate spinning scene is a beautiful idea, and you know, you mentioned Renoir there, but that's Tatty as well, isn't it? You know, you kind of you look at that, and that's again, I think something that is in so many comic strips is, you know, there's an individual, as I think Eddie Izzard mentioned as well, that the house story must be king as well.
I suppose, yeah.
You know,
I think Simon Brent did a wonderful score for that, and I think it carried the film a lot. You know, what the score he did was driving the film a lot, gave it a lot of energy.
And Simon, I mean, he did. And also, we should mention, we were mentioning before in the previous event about, you know, rock stars, and there's, you know, Jeff Beck on the back benches, I believe. So yeah, what happened again? Jeff Beck. How did he become involved?
He's always playing music on our films, which you don't know, no one knows. But those dogs, the one we saw, that's all Jeff doing that. He was played on the Queen of the Frontier and stuff. But he was a very good friend of mine, and lots of adventures with him. But he'd love to turn up and do something. So that was an indulgence of mine.
See, that's what I love, Alexei, is I think that image of the House of Commons is perfect. That whole, just the horrible, all of that seems to capture.
Yes. So where did we shoot that?
We shot it, you can hire the set actually, came from Manchester.
Oh, right.
We put it in the Rolls Royce factory that was empty in somewhere around here actually, near here. And yeah, we sort of erected it in a big space. It looks very good, doesn't it? It looks like, I mean, you are the
Yeah,
House
it
of
looks
Commons.
like that.
I loved your scene when you come in there, because I hadn't seen that for 30 years.
Yeah.
You know, when you come in, that's a very touching scene actually.
Mm.
When he comes in, I thought, you know, even in a comedy, I thought it was touching.
Nice coat.
Yes, did you manage to get it, or did
No, I
they?
didn't. No.
I wish you were doing the Q&A, because I've suddenly realised you could just stick with it. So where was I? What was going on?
It's a particular blank, that film, and it wasn't like anything, you know, particularly going on in my life, really. I don't know why that 91, 92, not,
Yeah.
you know.
We just
I don't know why I've got
turned
no
up and
memory
did
of it.
But you also have your wife who
This
played.
must be fun. How much did this cost you?
Let's tell you something very quickly. So I went down.
I can't remember a thing.
I'll try and make this quick. It's a slight indulgence this story.
I had a pizza.
I went down to Swindon to see Jerry Cottle about filming this circus, which we shot in North London. And I took my daughter with me and the producer, and they gave out raffle tickets for the, you know, to us, and they gave us some as well. My daughter had the winning ticket. She was taken to the middle. She said, "Would you like a bit? Would you like a big teddy bear, or £100 out of the box?" She was too old for teddy bears, so she said, "I'll take £100 out of the box." They said, "Right, what? Name a box 1 to 10." She said 1. That was the £100. We took £100 off them before we even started shooting there. Yeah. And then but they didn't have the money in the box because no one picks 1.
Yeah.
Who else would like to ask anything about? We got any other questions? Yes.
Something else other than that film.
So, like, there seems to be a tradition that comedy usually looks terrible on TV, but obviously with comic strip, it's like you were thinking about it in a different way, kind of visually, and you know, thinking of it more like film and everything. And I just wondered what the kind of thinking was behind that, and doing something that had a kind of more authored look to it than a traditional comedy.
I just wanted to always make films, so you know, I never thought anywhere else. I didn't want to do sitcoms. I didn't like television. I don't watch it. You know, never interested in it.
But I always thought that was one of the things I admired about Pete, was that he got every penny. Yeah, those budgets were tiny, really, and the amount of kind of visual flair that all those films had was extraordinary, really, and that's about creativity, really, because it's easy to, you know, it's easier to, you know, to look stylish on a big budget.
Well, it was very live, wasn't it? We really were in a circus, and you saw Alexei and
Yeah,
Adrian
but just
performing in a
being
real
general,
circus.
that
You
you
know,
always managed to. You
Oh well, yeah.
But
Thank
have
you.
tracking shots and things, just even in comedy films, you know, there's lots of films where they don't even go to that length of kind of, yeah.
Again, I think it was a bit like, I'm not going to answer for you.
Yeah, go
It was a bit in the sense that we adopted the tropes of when we went out live, we adopted the tropes of the rock business. So I think also obviously with comic strip, Peter adopted the language of the cinema, really, rather than
Yeah,
television.
definitely. I wasn't interested in television at all. Really.